What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 15:44 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe. Wanted to update you on the situation in Ukraine and the possibility of nuclear war with Russia. So we had some major breaking news come out on Friday from Germany. Apparently, some German Air Force officials discussed how to strike the Crimean bridge with Taurus missiles. They were planning out a strike on the Crimean bridge with Taurus missiles, and they talked about how they could get the missiles into Ukraine. They talked about using cars to hide the missiles. And I reported on that yesterday, and many people reported on that. And I wanted to update you on that. I have some more detailed information related to that. And we have some very concerning news coming in from Russian sources. So keep in mind, these are Russian sources. I can't verify this. So apparently, today, 3 NATO aircraft flew into Ukrainian airspace from the territory of Romania, 2 F-16s and 1 F-35. So, against the backdrop of a published conversation between German generals about attacks on the Crimean bridge, today 3 NATO aircraft flew into Ukrainian airspace from the territory of Romania, 2 F-16s and 1 F-35. The planes simulated missile strikes from the territory of the Mykolaiv region against Crimea and the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Among other things, the Patriot air defense system and 3 mobile radars in the Kherson and Zaporizhia region actively accompanied these 3 aircraft. In addition to practicing strikes on Crimea, the F-35 aircraft actively tried to track the location of Russian radars and electronic radars. The entire operation lasted about 32 minutes, after which all aircraft left Ukrainian airspace. So this is very, very concerning. So it looks like the U.S. has all their F-16s and F-35s that they plan to use against Russia in Romania. And the reason why is because F-16s need very flat runways. They have to be very well manicured. Okay, but this is extremely concerning. I don't know how true this is. Okay, this is coming from Russian sources. Apparently, 2 NATO F-16s and 1 F-35 flew from Romania into occupied territory of Ukraine. Okay, the southern part of Ukraine. They flew into occupied territory and they simulated a missile strike on Crimea and the Russian Black Sea Fleet, okay, and during which the Ukrainian Patriot missile systems were assisting. We also have some breaking news coming out of Germany. The German health minister, Karl Lauterbach, said that Germany must be ready for major disasters, including war. Okay, and he's talking about the German healthcare system being prepared to handle mass casualties. Okay, lots of people getting injured or killed, either in a nuclear war with Russia or conventional war with Russia, or if Germany has to send thousands of troops into Ukraine to turn the tide of the war. And here we have a picture that was released by the Russian sources showing the path of these F-16s and F-35s, where they took off from and where they went to. Again, I'm not 100% sure if this is legit or not. We currently have 2 U.S. nuclear war command and control planes in the air, which is actually a lot for a Sunday. Okay, so we have one flying over eastern Texas, and then we have one flying over Oklahoma, and the one over Oklahoma is flying really low for some reason, and it was looping over Tinker Air Force Base for the past hour or so. Okay, so U.S. nuclear forces are still on high alert. Yesterday, there were 4 of these in the air, which is unusual for a weekend. We also currently have a U.S. RQ-4 Global Hawk patrolling the Black Sea. Anytime this thing is up in the air, it usually means one of two things. Russia is planning a missile strike on Ukraine, or Ukraine is planning a drone or missile strike on Crimea. Okay? So something could go down tonight. Maybe Crimea is going to get hit again with drones. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims that last night they shot down 38 drones over Crimea. 38 drones. That's what the Russian military is claiming. We do know that one of these drones hit a facility somewhere near the Kerch Bridge in Feodosia, okay, not far from the Kerch Bridge. And the Russians shut down the Kerch Bridge last night, and there was traffic. Okay, so Ukraine is stepping up their drone attacks. 38 drones shot down over Crimea. There was also a drone attack on St. Petersburg last night. There was a loud kaboom heard in one of the suburbs of St. Petersburg, and apparently a drone was shot down by Russian air defense. According to Russian journalists, an air defense system damaged a high-rise building and smashed windows. According to the city health committee, 6 people sought medical assistance and 1 woman was hospitalized. So very, very interesting. This was a pretty serious kaboom in St. Petersburg. If it destroyed windows and caused several people to get some minor injuries, and apparently that drone targeted the Branka port, which is some type of port on the Baltic Sea, okay, in the Gulf of Finland. So Ukraine was going after one of their ports up there. And we had a massive amount of GPS jamming last night over Poland and Estonia. Look at all this GPS jamming going on. Basically, the entire northern half of Poland is having some very serious GPS jamming. Also, the Baltic Sea and southern Sweden, and basically most of Estonia as well. Okay, now obviously Russia is responsible for this GPS jamming, and just a few days ago they were jamming northern Norway. Okay, so these are the key areas, guys. Poland and Estonia. Okay, you could see what Russia's focusing on based on what areas they're jamming. Okay, they're jamming northern Poland, eastern Poland, Estonia, and northern Norway. Those are the areas of priority for the Russians. Okay, and I wanted to just give you guys some more details on that meeting with the German Air Force officials and their discussion of using the Taurus cruise missiles to destroy the Crimean Bridge. So the meeting focused on how Germany could organize the delivery and operation of the Taurus long-range cruise missiles if they were sent to Ukraine. The officials also claimed on the recording that the UK, France, and the US were keeping military personnel in Ukraine to operate modern Western weapon systems, which these countries denied. Wow, okay, so the British, the Americans, and the French have military personnel in Ukraine operating all those modern Western weapons. In the recording, Ingo Gerhards, the German Air Force commander-in-chief, instructed his aides to prepare a presentation for the defense minister on how Germany could supply Ukraine with Taurus and how Kyiv could use it to destroy targets, including ammunition depots and the Crimean Bridge. German officers on the recording noted that they had analyzed in great detail how to attack this key infrastructure site and said it would take 10 to 20 Taurus missiles to bypass Russian air defense systems and destroy the bridge. There is no reason to say we can't do this. It only depends on the political red lines, General Gerhards said. Germany has about 600 Taurus missiles in service, of which about 500 are considered operational. General Gerhards said that Germany could afford to supply Ukraine with 100 missiles in 2 tranches. He added that the UK and France are putting pressure on Germany to provide missiles because they have exhausted their own stocks. Wow. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1 month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1 month freeze dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $60 off the Patriot Supply 1 month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. So the UK and France have run out of long-range cruise missiles. In the leaked conversation, General Gerhardt said that it makes no sense to provide Ukraine with more than 100 missiles, as these weapons cannot have a significant impact on the battlefield because Ukraine does not have enough troops to liberate new or even hold controlled territory. According to him, the destruction of the Crimean bridge would be strategically and politically important, but Ukraine is unlikely to be able to continue a ground offensive. This will not change the course of the war. We must be clear about that, Gerhardt said. According to the leaked conversation, it would take 6 hours for Ukraine to launch a missile after receiving intelligence on a new target, if its personnel were properly trained and had access to all the necessary data. The German Air Force has modeled the terrain around the battlefield for the weapon system and can easily help Ukrainian forces bypass Russian air defenses around key targets, including the Crimean bridge, the officers said. According to one of the officers, this topographic data is for German eyes only, and its dissemination could violate restrictions imposed by the German government on German involvement in the conflict. Training for Ukrainian operators will take between 2 weeks and 4 months, depending on the level of accuracy and complexity of the tasks they will have to perform, say the officers who participated in the recorded conversation. Okay, so 2 weeks to 4 months. So this is crazy, guys. And they clearly said it would not have a major outcome on the war, but it would be strategically effective against the Crimean bridge. And General Gerhardt says the Chancellor of Germany insisted that any missile delivered be used without any involvement of Berlin's armed forces. One general involved in the talks said that the missiles could be installed relatively easily on Ukrainian Sukhoi 24 aircraft, which are already equipped to carry Storm Shadow missiles. They could also be easily installed on the F-16s that Ukraine is expected to receive from NATO this year. According to General Gerhardt, U.S. military personnel in Ukraine could help local troops with the Taurus. Many people with American accents run around in Ukraine in civilian clothes, he said. Okay, so this is serious, guys. It's not just this whole plan to destroy the Crimean bridge. There were a lot of good nuggets here. So they were saying that the British, the French, and the Americans have military personnel in Ukraine operating Western weapons, and that those personnel that are already there could use the Taurus missiles, okay, essentially fly the F-16s and deliver the missiles to the target, okay? And there's no way Russia would know, okay, if let's say we had American pilots flying the F-16s and they launched the Taurus missiles at the Crimean bridge. There's no way Russia would know that. okay, unless they were to shoot down the F-16 and somehow capture the pilot, which is not going to happen if they're flying the F-16 over Ukrainian airspace, okay. Also, uh, very interesting information saying that the Taurus missiles will not change the course of the war, and that Ukraine does not have enough troops to hold new territory or any territory that would potentially be liberated. So, very interesting. We also have some breaking news coming in from Lithuania, something that could agitate Putin even more. So, cars with Russian license plates must leave Lithuania by March 11th or they will be confiscated. An exception will be made for cars in transit to and from the Kaliningrad region. They will be allowed to stay in Lithuania for 24 hours. Wow, guys, that is interesting. Okay, so Lithuania will confiscate any car with a Russian license plate after March 11th unless they're transiting to and from Kaliningrad. In 2023, aircraft belonging to NATO air forces in Europe were scrambled more than 300 times to intercept Russian military aircraft approaching NATO airspace, with most interceptions taking place over the Baltic Sea. Wow, guys, 300 interceptions of Russian military aircraft last year over NATO airspace or near NATO airspace. And Italy has notified Slovakia that it intends to withdraw its SAMP-T medium-range air defense system from Slovakia. So now Slovakia doesn't have anything to protect their nuclear power plants and other strategic facilities from a Russian attack. And this could be because of the new Slovakian government that is very pro-Putin. So Italy is punishing them, essentially pulling out their air defense systems from Slovakia. And all border crossings with Poland remain blocked. All 6 checkpoints at the Ukrainian-Polish border remain blocked due to the ongoing Polish farmers' protests. Ukrainian border guard spokesperson Andriy Demchenko said today on Ukrainian TV. And Polish farmers have apparently destroyed some cars that were brought for the Ukrainian military. And this happened on the Polish Ukrainian border. And the Russian army struck a residential building in Kurakovo with an aerial bomb. Apparently, 16 people were injured, 2 in serious condition, and at least 15 houses were damaged. And representatives of Georgia, Azerbaijan, Romania, and Hungary discussed a project of laying an underwater cable across the Black Sea. That's very interesting. So it looks like they want to connect Azerbaijan and Georgia to Romania and Hungary with some kind of undersea comms cable. I want to just show you guys some flight paths from Europe last night. Here we have a Polish border guard plane patrolling the border of Russia and Belarus and flying through the Suwalki Gap. Here we have an Estonian border guard plane patrolling the Estonian border with the Baltic Sea and the Gulf of Riga. And here we have a UK aerial refueler that flew all the way up to northern Norway, and it was refueling something up there. What it was refueling, we don't know because it was flying with no transponder, obviously, but it was up there for a while. And here we have a picture of some of the vehicles that were supposed to go to the Ukrainian military and were destroyed by Polish farmers, allegedly. You can see all the windows here were messed up and they had to tape them. Here's another picture. So I think a lot of these Polish farmers could be Russian agents trying to drive a wedge between Poland and Ukraine. And Hezbollah today shelled the village of Shlomi in northern Israel with Birkin 2 rockets. Those are some long range, high yield rockets, very powerful. And Hezbollah announced the targeting of an Israeli military force opposite the village of Al Wazani with appropriate weapons and causing direct casualties. And the IRGC is claiming to have hit a chemical plant in Haifa with a drone. Haifa is in northern Israel. So the IRGC is now targeting northern Israel. It's not just Hezbollah anymore. The IRGC is getting involved. Okay, so the conflict is spreading. And an Italian destroyer shot down a Houthi drone that tried to hit it in the Red Sea. Very interesting. And Syrian sources are saying that a large shipment of weapons and ammunition have been received by the IRGC in their warehouses in eastern Syria in the town of Ayash. The sources said the weapons and ammunition arrived in a refrigerator truck and 2 pickup trucks belonging to the Lebanese Hezbollah. And Belgian police arrested 4 Islamic jihadists who were about to carry out a terror attack. The arrests were made in Brussels, Charleroi, Ninove, and Liège. Okay, so very, very concerning. And during Christmas, there were some jihadists that were arrested in Germany, and they were planning to carry out an attack on this massive cathedral in Cologne, okay? The largest twin spire church in the world, I believe. So the threat of jihadist attacks is still there and it's growing. Okay. So just be aware when you're going out in public, you're going to big cities, crowded areas. Be aware of your surroundings, know where the exits are, know where cover and concealment is. If something goes down, you can either hide or get behind something that will stop bullets or shrapnel. And here we have a picture showing the British tanker ship that was sunk by the Houthis. It got hit with a missile in its engine compartment, and this is underwater now. This ship is underwater, and this was posted by U.S. Central Command. Very, very bad situation, okay? The Biden administration is looking really, really weak right now. These Houthis are getting the best of us. Very, very bad, very bad. And here we have a picture of one of the Hezbollah rocket attacks on northern Israel today. You can see this big plume of smoke there, pretty massive plume of smoke. And we have a new poll that came out from the New York Times and Siena College. They're showing Trump ahead of Biden by 5%. Okay, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but this is just one poll. There's other polls showing Biden ahead of Trump. So I think it's way too early to tell what's going to happen. But we have some updates from Taiwan, and apparently 21 Chinese military aircraft and 6 Chinese military vessels operated around Taiwan today. Okay, that is just absolutely insane. 21 Chinese military aircraft. And France has provided Armenia with weapon systems with modern technology that has not been made public. Very, very interesting. So, this is the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back this evening with more breaking news. So, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell below so you get notified when I post these updates. And until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.